Tirish, are you there?
Is that you, Big Then?
Yes, where are you? It's so dark in here I can't see a thing.
I'm over here. Close the door. Then your eyes will quickly adjust to the darkness. You're sure no one followed you here?
Quite.
I hope you're right. If King Ahasuerus had even the slightest suspicion that we were plotting against him, he would have us hanged at once. Did you talk to any of the generals or army chiefs?
Yes, and I'm sure that once Ahasuerus is out of the way, they will support our cause immediately. For the most part, they're very disgusted with the way in which the king conducted his disastrous campaign against the Greeks, in which our armies were so shamefully defeated.
Good. Their support will be needed.
What about former Queen Vashti's courtiers? Do you feel that they will support us?
I'm quite certain they will. Now that Vashti is no longer queen, they have lost their influence with the king. Several that I have been able to talk to are very disgruntled. Between them and the army, I think our plan will be successful. When do you think we should kill him?
The sooner the better. He completely trusts us, at least at present. The longer we wait, the more chance there is that someone might find out about our plans. And you know what would happen then.
Yes.
Say, Uncle Dan, your story sounds like it's going to be exciting.
Oh, it certainly is, Aunt Sue. It's a continuation of the story about the beautiful young girl named Esther.
I remember that Esther had just been chosen to be queen over the land of Persia.
That's right, Aunt Sue. And in this story, she learns why God exalted her to such a high position.
I'm anxious to hear what happens to her in this episode. Who were those two men we heard at the start of your story? Did they really kill the king?
Well, let's not get ahead of things. They were two of the king's most trusted eunuchs, and it was their responsibility to guard the entrance to the king's quarters. Yet they were planning to kill him themselves. You can read about it in your Bible, the book of Esther, chapters 2 through 5. I call this part of our series,
The Forgotten Reward.
When Esther was removed from her home with Mordecai and taken to the king's palace, she was continually remembered in the prayers of her relative Mordecai, who had brought her up and taught her to always be true to the God of heaven.
And Lord, again tonight I pray that you will be with my child Esther. Help her always to remember that she is also thy child, and that she must serve thee, the King of Kings, as well as King Ahasuerus. At the palace she has so many temptations. Give her the strength to meet each new temptation victoriously, and guide her in thy paths of truth.
And every day Mordecai walked in front of the court of the harem to learn how Esther was and how she fared.
Hatak! May I speak with you a minute?
Of course, Mordecai. You want to know about your girl Esther again, I presume.
How is she? Have you seen her lately?
Yes. Just yesterday I delivered a portion of food to her quarters. I told her how you came to the courtyard every day and asked about her.
You did?
She said that she has seen you from her window many times. I think she appreciates your concern for her welfare.
May God bless her. Did she seem to be well and happy?
Oh, very definitely. You know, I think you worry about her too much.
Perhaps I do. But she's my joy and blessing. I cannot forget her.
Good morning, Mordecai.
Is it well with my child, Esther?
Oh, she's fine. Hegai, the chief eunuch, has just appointed 7 maids to serve her. 7 of the finest in the kingdom.
How is Esther?
Couldn't be better. Yesterday, I helped her move into larger quarters. Hegai has given her the best apartment in the harem. Good morning, Mordecai. Tomorrow, Esther will make her appearance before the king.
Lords, ladies, princes, I present to you my choice for our new queen, Queen Esther.
Long live Queen Esther! Long live Queen Esther!
But even after Esther was queen, Mordecai continued to make inquiry concerning her. Then, one day...
Hatak!
Why, good morning, Mordecai. Esther is fine as usual. She is preparing a banquet for the king.
I must see her and talk with her.
See her?
It's a matter of the greatest importance. It concerns the well-being and safety of the king. I must see her at once.
Well, I don't know. Well, couldn't you just send a message to her? She's very busy just now.
The message I bring I dare not write out. I must see her and deliver it myself. Is there no way that you can allow me to see her?
Well, we can try. Well, come along. I'll take you to see Haggai, the chief eunuch. We must get his permission first.
Finally, Mordecai is brought into the presence of Queen Esther.
Mordecai, to see Her Majesty Queen Esther.
Come forward, Cousin Mordecai. Do you have a request or a petition to make?
No, my child. I have no request but that you take a message of the greatest importance to the king.
A message? But Mordecai, it's not my position to deliver messages to the king.
The message concerns a plot to take the king's life. Since I do not know exactly who might be involved in the plot, I cannot send the message in the usual manner.
Oh.
Therefore I came to you, for I knew that you would know how to deal in this matter.
I see. You've acted very wisely, Mordecai. I'll see the king tonight and give him the message myself. Now tell me all that you know of this plot.
Well, yesterday, as I was sitting at the king's gate, I happened to notice one of the king's eunuchs who guarded the threshold, Tirish by name, enter an empty room near the king's gate. Now, I thought it was strange that he should go into that room, as it's not been used for several months. Then a little later I saw another of the eunuchs who guard the threshold, Bigthan by name, also enter the same room. Now when Bigthan approached the room, he looked all around him, as if he was trying to see if anyone might see him enter the room. Therefore I appeared to pay no attention to him. But after he had gone in, I went near the doorway and overheard their conversation.
Are you sure that no one saw you come in here?
Of course I'm sure. How dumb do you think I am? I'm well aware what King Ahasuerus would do if he had even the most remote suspicion of our plot.
We must put our plan into effect at the earliest opportunity. Perhaps we have already delayed too long. Maybe the king is even now suspicious.
Oh, you worry too much. He knows nothing unless you've let it out.
I haven't let anything out, but I can't help but be more and more concerned as the event approaches. When are we next scheduled to be on guard together at His Majesty's quarters?
3 nights from tonight.
Then we must kill him at that time. Now here's the way we'll do it. As the king enters the gate, we'll both be...
And Mordecai told Queen Esther all that he had heard concerning the plot. And Esther told the king in the name of Mordecai.
Captain, I want you to arrest immediately 2 of the eunuchs who guard my threshold, Bigthan and Tirish by name, and bring them to my audience chamber at once.
At once, sir. Bigthan and Tirish to see His Majesty King Ahasuerus.
Bring them forward.
Long live the king.
Long live the king indeed. If you two had your way, I wouldn't see the light of another day.
I'm afraid we don't understand, Your Majesty.
Oh, you don't? Well, I understand that you two have formed a plot to kill me. You, who have been promoted to the positions of greatest trust. Is this the way you show your gratitude?
Why, no, Your Majesty. I wouldn't harm you, Your Majesty. I was aware of the plot, but I was planning to warn you about it this very day, Your Majesty. Bigthan is the one who planned it.
What do you mean I planned it? You had as much to do with it as I did.
It was your idea to start with.
Well, it must have been your carelessness that let the knowledge slip out.
Stop! I have heard enough. You are both guilty of the highest treason. Captain, take these 2 out and hang them immediately.
Yes, Your Majesty. Immediately.
And the affair was recorded in the book of the Chronicles in the presence of the king. Normally, one who would reveal such a plot to the king would have been given great rewards. But apparently King Ahasuerus was so concerned about investigating the affair and seeing that the offenders were punished that he forgot to reward the faithful Mordecai who had saved his life. Now there was another of the king's servants named Haman, and King Ahasuerus promoted Haman the Agagite and advanced him above all the other princes so that he was next to the king.
Haman, newly appointed Prime Minister to see His Majesty.
You may come forward, Haman.
Long live the king.
Arise, Haman. State your request.
Your Majesty, We, your humble subjects, always bow before you because we believe that you are the incarnation of our great god, Ahura Mazda.
Well, at least some believe that.
Therefore, we bow in worship before you.
I am aware of all this, but what do you desire?
Your Majesty, as your Prime Minister and the second in your kingdom, don't you feel that it would be only proper and right that your subjects should bow down and worship me also?
Well, I don't know. Why should they?
Your Majesty, in bowing down to me, they would be really worshipping you. For I am your representative, and as I pass through the streets of the capital, it would give your subjects the opportunity to show their reverence and loyalty to you, O King.
Do you really think so?
Oh, definitely, Your Majesty, definitely. Now, I have prepared a document to this effect. All that is needed is for you to place your seal upon it, and it shall become a royal decree.
Well, I suppose it won't do any harm. Here, give it to me, and I'll seal it.
Haman, second to the king, passes. Bow and worship, Haman, second to the king, passes. Bow and worship, Haman, second to the king, passes. Bow and worship, Haman, second to the king, passes.
Mordecai, why don't you bow down when Haman passes as the king has ordered?
In all matters where the king has the right to command, I obey. But I cannot bow down and worship this man, for he claims that which should be given only to God.
Well, he's obviously no god. But he has succeeded in getting the king to sign a decree that all are to bow before him, and to refuse is to disobey the king.
I have read the decree.
Then why do you refuse to obey it?
I am a Hebrew. I serve the living God, the God of heaven. He has commanded that I should not bow down to any other god.
Well, would you also then refuse to bow down before King Ahasuerus?
I would bow in submission before him, or in loyalty or obedience. But I could not bow in worship before him.
If you could bow in submission before King Ahasuerus, why can't you bow in submission before Haman?
I would bow in submission before him. But in the decree that Haman had the king sign, he states the reason for the people to bow before him is to worship him. Therefore, if I were to bow before him, I would acknowledge that he has a claim to divine worship. And as a Hebrew, I cannot do that.
Then the king's servants, who were at the king's gate, reasoned with Mordecai. And when they had spoken to him day after day, and he would not listen to them, they told Haman in order to see whether Mordecai's words would avail.
Haman, are you aware that there is a man who sits at the king's gate who refuses to bow before you when you pass?
What? Why, how dare he? Who is he? What's his name? Does he think for a minute that he can disobey the king's command and get away with it? Well, what's his name?
His name is Mordecai, sir.
Mordecai? I've never heard of him. What does he do?
He serves the king at the royal gate.
Well, then he certainly must be aware of the royal decree that all are to bow before me.
Oh, he is aware of the decree. But he says that he cannot bow before you because of religious reasons.
Religious reasons? Why, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. What kind of religion does he have, anyway?
He is a Hebrew, sir.
Oh, a Hebrew. I've heard of them. They're scattered all over the 127 provinces. So a Hebrew's religion won't let him bow before me, huh? Well, we'll see about that.
Good evening, dear. Have a good day?
Oh, I had a miserable day.
Oh?
There's a Hebrew who sits at the king's gate who refuses, mind you, to bow down before me.
Why, that should be a simple matter to take care of. Ask the king to have him put to death for refusing to obey a royal decree.
But he refuses because he's a Hebrew.
So?
Don't you see what it means? There are thousands and thousands of Hebrews scattered all over the kingdom. Certainly I could have this one put to death. But what about the next Hebrew that I should happen to meet? Or the one after that? Or any Hebrew? Since they claim that their religion won't allow them to bow before me, then everywhere I go, there they'll be, insulting me. I must do away with them. I've got to kill every last Hebrew that walks the face of the earth.
But you can't do that.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do. I'm Haman, second in the kingdom, and don't you forget it.
I know well who you are, my dear, but even you cannot wantonly go about killing anyone you please.
I'll get the king to issue a royal decree that all Hebrews are to be put to death.
Oh, don't be so foolish, Haman. The king would never sign such a decree. Haven't the Hebrews always been loyal, law-abiding subjects?
Yeah, who cares? I think I'm beginning to see how to handle the situation. The king's treasury is in dire need of additional funds. The recent disastrous war with the Greeks has drained heavily upon it. If I offer the king a large enough sum, one that would more than offset the loss of revenue to the crown from the slain Hebrews, perhaps he'll be favorable. Better still, I won't tell him just what nationality is involved. I'll use general terms to describe them.
Then where will you get enough money to offset so great a loss of revenue?
Why, from the Hebrews themselves. I'll confiscate their property when I kill them. The riches held by the Hebrews here in Shushan alone would be equal to several times a king's ransom.
Are you sure? Maybe they're not as wealthy as you believe.
Huh?
We might end up losing our great riches if your scheme doesn't work. Haman, I couldn't bear to be poor again.
Oh, don't worry. The plan will work. Soon you will be the wife of the richest man in all the kingdom. And what's more, then there won't be any who refuse to bow before me. I shall be as great as the king. Come. We waste precious time. I must determine the proper day to go in before the king, and also set the day for the slaughter of the Hebrews. Send for my wise men and astrologers. We'll cast the lot to find the correct and lucky days.
Then they cast Pur, that is, the lot, before Haman to determine the day of the month.
The 13th. The 13th day of the month will be the lucky day.
Next, the month was determined by again casting lots.
The 12th month? Not until then? Why, that's almost a year from now. Very well, the 12th month it shall be. On the 13th day of the 12th month, then shall I have my revenge on that insolent Mordecai who refuses to bow down and worship me.
Haman, the second in the kingdom, to see his majesty.
Good morning, Haman.
Long live the king.
Arise and come forward.
Thank you, your majesty.
What do you have to see me about this morning?
Your majesty is your prime minister. I've always completely carried out your desires and commands, and I've followed carefully all the policies that you have set forth.
Yes?
Now, it has been your policy, and therefore mine also, to settle your subjects in a quiet life, and to make your kingdom peaceable, hasn't it?
That is correct.
Therefore, you have established a stable government, and you make decrees when the need arises, so your subjects can know your desires.
From time to time, yes.
Since all this is true, I feel that I must bring to your attention a most alarming conspiracy that I have discovered.
Oh?
There's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom. Their laws are different from those of every other people, and they do not keep the king's laws.
They do not keep my laws?
Well, your majesty, they keep only the laws that they wish to keep, and they ignore the ones that they do not wish to keep. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to tolerate them.
Why, of course not.
Your majesty, shouldn't it be decreed that all these people who disobey you be put to death?
Why, of course, definitely. How many people are involved in this conspiracy?
It is hard to estimate exactly, your majesty, but several hundred at least.
Several hundred? Why hasn't this been brought to my attention sooner?
I don't know, your majesty. Just as soon as I discovered the matter, I, of course, came to you at once.
Several hundred? Oh, their death will cause a large loss of revenue to the treasury, won't it?
If it please the king, let it be decreed that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those who have charge of the king's business, that they may put it into the king's treasuries.
10,000 talents? Why, that's a substantial portion of the total yearly revenue.
Yes.
Is it truly worth 10,000 talents to you for this people that you have spoken of to be destroyed?
Why, your majesty, it's not for me that they're to be destroyed, but for you, O king, for they obey not your laws.
But, Haman, I cannot for a minute consider your offer. It would surely be looked upon as a bribe.
Yes, your majesty.
Nevertheless, Haman, since the matter seems to be of such great importance to you, here is my signet ring from off my hand. The money is given to you, the people also. Do with them as it seems good to you.
Zeresh! Zeresh, where are you?
I'm right here. What do you want? Oh, apparently your request to the king was granted.
Granted. It was more than granted. Soon you'll be the richest woman in all the city, and all the world, for that matter. Here. Do you see this?
Oh, what is it?
That is the king's signet ring. He was so grateful to me for informing him about the Hebrews that he took his ring off his hand and gave it to me so that I may make up the decree myself. And by using this ring, it will immediately become royal law.
You told him it was the Hebrews you want destroyed?
Oh, no, of course not. He doesn't care who the people are, only that they do not obey his laws.
Oh, I hope you're right, Haman. Yet somehow I can't get over the fear that something will go wrong with your plans.
Go wrong? What could go wrong now? I have the king's permission to make the decree. I have the king's ring to seal it. And once it becomes law, there's no one, not even the king himself, who can change it. And I will see that there are no loopholes when I write the decree. It would be impossible for anything to go wrong now.
Look! One of the royal couriers is approaching. Well, we better get out of the way. Hear ye, hear ye! By official order of His Majesty Ahasuerus, King of all Persia and Media, it is hereby decreed that all people from the land of Judah, who are known as Hebrews, are to be destroyed, to be slain and to be annihilated, young and old, women and children in one day, the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and their goods shall be plundered.
I wonder why the kings decreed the death of the Hebrews. What did they do? I don't know, but there's a very wealthy family of them that live near me. Now I know how I'll get the money to pay my taxes this year, thanks to that royal decree.
Now when Mordecai learned all that had been done, he rent his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the midst of the city, wailing with a loud and bitter cry. And he went up to the entrance of the king's gate, for no one might enter the king's gate clothed with sackcloth.
Your Majesty, may I speak with you for a minute?
Why, of course, Hatak. What is it?
Mordecai, your guardian, who comes often to ask about you, is at the entrance of the king's gate clothed in sackcloth and ashes, and wailing with a loud and bitter cry as though some near kinsman has just died.
Kinsman died? We have no close kinsman. I wonder what's happened. Is he there now?
Yes, your Majesty.
Then go and bring him here that I may inquire concerning his sorrow. Take him a clean robe from the servants' quarters and a pair of sandals so that he may take off his sackcloth and enter the palace.
At once, your Majesty. Long live the Queen! Your Majesty, Mordecai would not accept the garments that you sent. Therefore I could not bring him unto you.
That's strange. Did he give you any reason for his actions?
No, your Majesty. Only something to the effect that his sorrow was too great for him to remove his sackcloth and cease from mourning.
I can't imagine for what or who he mourns. Hatak, since he cannot come here to tell me why he mourns, you shall have to go unto him again and find out the exact nature of his sorrow.
Yes, your Majesty. It shall be done as you desire.
When Hatak went out to Mordecai in the city in front of the king's gate, Mordecai told him all that had happened, and the exact sum of money that Haman had promised to pay into the king's treasuries for the destruction of the Hebrews. Mordecai also gave Hatach a copy of the written decree, that he might show it to Esther and explain it to her, and charge her to go to the king to make supplication for her people. And Mordecai sent this word unto Esther.
Think not that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Hebrews. Who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?
When we walk with the Lord in the light of His Word, what a glory He sheds on our way. While we do His good will, He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Not a shadow can rise, not a cloud in the skies, but His smile quickly drives it away. Not a doubt nor a fear, not a sigh nor a tear can abide while we trust and obey. But we never can prove the delights of His love until all on the altar we lay. For the favor He shows and the joy He bestows are for them who will trust and obey. Then in fellowship sweet we will sit at His feet, or will walk by His side in the way. What He says we will do. Where He sends we will go. Never fear, only trust and obey. Trust and obey. For there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey.
Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland.
Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland, struggling against extreme odds, traveling dangerous trails, fighting the many enemies of nature. This is the job of the guardian of the forest, Ranger Bill. Pouring rain, freezing cold, blistering heat, snow, floods, bears, rattlesnakes, mountain lions. Yes, all this in exchange for the satisfaction and pride of a job well done.
Hi, boys and girls. Hi, everybody, in fact. I'm Henry. Well, I guess you know who I am, but, well, maybe in case you never tuned in before, I'd better tell you at least a little something about myself. Well, I'm Ranger Bill's ward. That's just another way of saying that he's my guardian. We've had lots of adventures together, some of them real exciting and dangerous. We just never know what's going to turn up next. Today I'd like to tell you about an adventure that Grey Wolf and I had. Well, it just about finished both of us off. It all began one day in the summer when... I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll start over again. Grey Wolf and I called this the adventure of the Tarnished Gold.
This looks about right. That map is right, that is.
Yeah.
Hand me that compass. East, southeast. Looks as though we're running into a blank wall of rock.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The sun on that cliff makes it hard to see. We'll make a turnaround, I reckon. Not much of a path here. Sure. We go around this corner of rock and... Yeah, there it is.
What?
What? Jabez, since you've asked me, I'll tell you. What you're looking at now, what's over there staring at us in the desert sun, what we've come this far to find is...
What?
$100,000.
Dear Grey Wolf and Henry, we're having a fine time and wish you were here. We seen the President of the U.S. yesterday, but I don't reckon he's seen us. He was going by in his automobile. Bill is busy with them fellers down to the Pentagon building.
What?
In between times, we have been seeing the sights of Washington, D.C. We will be back in 2 weeks. Bill says I got to practice more on my harmonic key. The folks in the next room at our hotel put in a complaint. Best regards, Stumpy.
Oh, good old Stumpy. You know, I even miss that harmonica playing of his.
They'll be back soon. You bring a newspaper too, Henry?
Yeah, not much in it. You want it?
Take a look. Yeah, big man come to Knotty Pine. Ben Barkley, known around the world as mining engineer, come to Knotty Pine. Says millions of dollars can be had in old gold workings. Mr. Barkley, in an exclusive interview today, said that millions of dollars...
Come in.
Mr. Bragg?
Yes, that's me.
Mr. Bragg, here's my card.
Oh, thanks. Sit down, Mr. Barkley. Your card reads Benjamin Barkley, mining engineer. Peru, India, and New York City. That's a pretty big territory.
I get around, Mr. Bragg. Mr. Bragg, I'm a man that gets right down to business. Don't beat around the bush. Never waste words. Now, you're the big banker in this here town.
Only banker in town. Knotty Pine isn't a big city.
Big enough. Mr. Bragg, I've come here to you because I want to let you in on the biggest proposition you ever heard of. I can make you the richest man in this part of the country.
But I'm not interested in speculation.
This isn't speculation. This is a sure thing.
I'm listening.
Mr. Bragg, I could show you a trunk full of credentials, papers, letters of recommendation, all stuff that would show you, prove to you that I have been and am one of the most successful mining engineers in the world. But I'm not going to do that. I don't feel I have to. I'd rather have you prove for yourself what I have to say.
Go ahead.
Here it is. Oh, I must ask you to keep this confidential.
Of course, Mr. Barkley.
Now, it's been my theory for a good many years that those old-time prospectors, those desert rats who went around digging all those little mines...
Yes?
Well, it's been my theory that 9 times out of 10 they quit, left their workings, not even knowing they had struck a gold vein.
I can't believe that.
Well, listen, then. You know what the assay office is, don't you?
Well, naturally. We have one right here in this town, and it's run by the United States government.
Yeah, I know that. Well, even without being an engineer, you must realize how much mining techniques and assaying techniques must have improved in the last 50 years.
Well?
New methods of testing the rock, new methods of grinding and analyzing the ore will, I feel certain, show traces of plenty of gold, where the same ore analyzed 50 years ago by the old methods wouldn't have shown a thing.
Well, makes sense, but how does all this add up, as far as we are concerned, that is?
Well, that's what I'm here to tell you. And, Mr. Bragg, I can make you a millionaire. Hi, Henry. You got homework done?
Hey! Did you get that long-distance call that they were trying to get you on? Oh. They even asked me at school where you were. Well, I said that...
Well, I'd take a walk. No telephone. They want, they call again. You do homework.
Well, all I know is that you had this long-distance phone call, and I'll bet that's it right now. I'll get it. Hello? Yeah? Yeah, sure. He's right here. Just a second. It's for you.
Oh, thank you, Henry. Hello? Yes, Grey Wolf. Oh, Bill.
Is it Bill?
Yes, I seen paper last week. Yes, big story, front page, big picture. Henry, you send Bill Knotty Pine newspaper?
Sure, last week. I thought he'd like to see it.
What do you want me to do, Bill? You tell I do. Uh-huh. Yes. Oh.
Hey, what's up? Some new adventure?
I do that, Bill. Fine. Right.
Hey, what's Bill want?
Sure, Bill, I'll do. You know, I'll worry. Goodbye. Oh, it was Bill.
I know. I know. What I don't know is what he wanted. Sure sounded important.
Well, maybe yes and maybe no. You remember a picture in paper of a man named Barkley?
Sure. Why, he must be about the richest man in the world. I saw him on the street downtown. Boy, he's got a real gold nugget on his watch chain, supposed to be worth $7,000.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, Bill think he know him from long ago. See his picture in paper. Bill say that I watched Ben Barkley.
What for?
I don't know. Bill say watch, so I watch. Watch and see. Well, right now I watch Henry do homework.
Did you get that package in the mail from the dental supply office?
Yeah.
Okay, hand it over.
Heavy.
Of course it's heavy. It's bound to be heavy, considering what's in it. I'll just put this away in a safe place. I thought we'd better have plenty of, well, let's say plenty of bait.
Bait?
Sure, bait. Bait to land a poor fish named Bragg. Bragg the banker. Like everybody else, he's looking for something for nothing. And that's why we're going to be able to land him hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, but...
Here he comes. You let me do the talking. That's a laugh. You never say anything anyway. How do you do, Mr. Bragg? All ready for our little fishing trip?
Yes, but why on earth you want to haul this fishing tackle along when all we're going to do is ride out and look at
Mr. Bragg, you wouldn't want the whole town in on this deal, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Well, of course not. Now, folks think we're just going on a little fishing trip. That's different.
Oh, I see.
Bring the horses around, Jabez, and we'll get started. Mr. Bragg is a busy man. We'll get there in an hour, easy. And here we are, Mr. Bragg, just as I said we'd be. Hardly an hour's ride from town. Now, this is the face. This is where whoever dug this place in the first place quit.
But he must have quit because he found out this was worthless.
Worthless, maybe, by old-fashioned methods. Here, Mr. Bragg, take this pick here.
But
Go ahead. Shine the light right here on the face, Jabez.
Right.
Now, you go ahead, Mr. Bragg. Go ahead and chip off some of the samples yourself. I told you I'd prove to you that I was an honest man. You get your own samples. Go ahead.
Well,
That's it. Now, you pick up those chips yourself, Mr. Bragg, and put them in that canvas sack. You hold on to that sack and don't let go of it for a minute. Don't let go of it until you hand it in at the assay office yourself.
I can't believe it. Would you mind flashing that light around a bit?
There.
I see it, but I can't believe it. Barkley, let's get back to the assay office as quick as we can. Mr. Stone, get off your feet off that desk and look at what I have here in this sack.
Okay, Mr. Bragg. What's your hurry?
Well, you'll see.
Where'd you get that?
Never mind. Your job isn't to know where I got it. It's to tell me how much it's worth.
Yeah, it'll take a while, you know.
Sure, I know, but get going. Get started right away.
All right. Yeah, I can't be sure. And just by looking at this stuff with my naked eye, I can tell you I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. Never in my whole life. Why, you can even see the gold in it. Plain as day.
Well, there he comes out of the assay office, looking up and down the street. He's hooked, all right. He's hooked.
Yeah.
Now all we got to do is...
Mr. Barkley, wait there.
Yes, Mr. Bragg? We'll wait, all right.
Mr. Barkley, glad I happened to see you. I think it's safe to say you were right from the start. The man in the assay office seems enthusiastic. In fact, he seems almost beside himself. We'll know tomorrow, but...
Yeah? Yeah, what?
What about titles? Suppose we...
Nah, you don't go supposing a thing, Mr. Bragg. You don't think an old hand like myself would go into a thing like this without making sure every single solitary title was safe. Well, I have a lien on everyone. The place we looked at and lots more besides.
Oh my. For a moment there, You said other places?
Why, certainly.
Oh, my. Well, then we... Does anybody else know this?
No, only us.
Good. I've got to be going. I remember you said that we shouldn't be talking together too much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. So he wants titles, huh? After he gets that assayist report tomorrow, he'll forget everything except the fact that he wants what we got.
Boss.
What?
Look.
Where?
There.
Oh, him.
Engine.
Sure he's an engine. Didn't you ever see an engine before? He's harmless. He's the same one we saw yesterday, and the day before, and the day after that. He lives here, I guess. He's harmless. Don't tell me you're scared of a broken-down, beat-up engine.
Spain is known as the Iberian Peninsula. Capital's Madrid. The chief exports are grapes, cork, and...
Bah. Bah.
Yeah, boy, you're sure a funny teacher, but I get the point, though. Wool.
Ah.
Yeah. The chief exports are grapes and cork and wool. Say, haven't I studied enough now?
Oh, tell me more about Spain.
Well, Spain's a dry, arid country. The short, swift rivers are noted for trout fishing. Hey.
Hey, what?
Hey, what about those men? That Barclay and that banker Bragg. You know, that guy that never says much. Have they been catching any fish?
Oh, no.
No? I thought you said that they...
men carrying fishing rod not always catch fish.
Well, yes, but I thought...
I follow. Walk soft. Barclay make 2 or 3 trips. Sometime take banker Bragg. Sometime all 3 go. All take fishing rod, but never fish.
But where do they go?
Out Badlands way. I follow on horse, yeah.
Huh. There's no lakes or streams or ponds out there.
No good place to fish.
I should say not. Where do they go, Grey Wolf?
Same place every time.
But where?
Same place every time. Hole in mountain.
Yeah, I see you here bright and early, Mr. Bragg.
When I say I'll be at a certain place, at a certain time, I'm there. You got that report finished yet?
Yeah, when I say I'll have everything done at a certain time, I got it done. Here you are.
Well, hand it over. Well, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This is incredible, incredible.
I told you yesterday I thought it was an unusual sample. You didn't just get it from one place, did you? You know, sometimes...
Oh, of course not. I know better than that. I took samples from here and there across the whole face. Why, that vein must be 10 feet wide and over 6 feet high.
Well, then, Mr. Bragg, all I can say is this. If you own a part of this outfit, even a tiny part of it, you stand to be one of the richest men this country has ever seen. This assay's more dollars per ton than anything that has ever been recorded anywhere.
And so when I saw the report, saw it with my own eyes, I knew that this was the biggest thing in the world. Mr. Barclay, you're right.
Oh, I said so all along.
Oh, of course you did. Now, perhaps we could talk business.
Perhaps we could.
Are you prepared to
sell?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I was...
Mr. Bragg, you seem like a good businessman. I've decided to do you a favor.
Yes?
Now you take me. I like to be on the go. China, Afghanistan. I don't like to stay too long in one place. You know, I get kind of restless. What I like is a quick profit, and then off I go on the move again.
Well, yes?
So here's what I'll do. You've convinced yourself now that this is really a wonderful proposition. You found out for yourself.
That's right.
So I don't have to do any more talking. Mr. Bragg, I'll turn over that whole thing to you. Turn it over to you lock, stock, and barrel. For one lump sum, that is.
How much?
Well, considering everything, considering the facts and figures you got for yourself, and considering what you found out, I don't think I'm asking too much.
How much?
Of course, being on the move as I am, I'd want it all at once, in cash.
How much?
$100,000.
I'll take it.
Is it far from here?
Oh, 5-10 minutes. Get down on stomach. Crawl up to top of ridge.
Oh, but...
Maybe Barclay and Jabez come.
But they're back at the hotel. The clerk said they'd gone to bed.
We make sure anyway. Nobody around.
It's a good thing that there's a bright moon.
We'll use flashlight later when we get inside mountain. Come along.
Wow. So this is it.
This is it, all right.
But it's nothing but an old abandoned mine shaft. There's hundreds of them around here. Like this one, if it's like the others, just goes straight into the mountain for a few hundred yards, and that's all. Why do Barclay and Bragg come here all the time?
We try to find out.
Come along.
Nothing in here. Nothing.
We see.
It's a good thing we brought these powerful flashlights. Oh, yeah, you knew we were going into an old mine.
Yeah. Looks like we get to end of mine.
Yeah, we can't go any farther, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is the face of mine.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, hold light still. Why are you waving around like that?
Just Grey Wolf.
What?
Look, I shine my light back and forth. See? So you can see the glints of the wall. It sparkles. See, it shines here and there.
It shines, all right. It shines yellow.
Yellow? It shines like gold.
Yes.
Gold? Why, you said this was an old, abandoned, worthless mine that never had any gold in it to begin with. Look, Grey Wolf. Look, see? See? I can scratch off little flakes with my fingernail. See how it shines in the light? Why, this wall is covered with gold.
Right.
Why? Why, that means this mine must be worth, why, $1 zillion. Grey Wolf.
Yes?
What? You don't even seem to be excited.
I try to think of what to do next.
Why, no wonder, Mr. Barkley. Say, do you think he owns this mine? And that he's going to sell it to Mr. Bragg?
Well, that's what I want to stop. I think that Mr. Barkley is going to...
Mr. Barkley, right.
Wait, it's...
Yeah, it's me, Barkley. Not as dumb as I might look.
You're supposed to be in bed.
Listen, boy, I wasn't born yesterday. I've seen this engine here poking around and snooping around, and it didn't take much to put two and two together. Especially as soon as I found out he was one of the Rangers. Jabez and me, we took off out of that back door of the hotel and followed you all the way. And it's a good thing we did. Jabez?
Right.
You got that rope?
Sure.
Well, take those short pieces and tie their hands behind them.
Yeah.
Don't try any monkey business. I got you covered with the wrong end of a 44.
How'd you get in here?
We can see in the dark. You got them tied up yet?
Yeah.
Good. Get them lights and let's go. You two, get moving. Keep ahead of me. We got a place to go right now.
How much farther are we going?
You'll find out. Keep moving.
What are you going to do to us?
You'll find out.
Boss.
What?
Mine shaft.
Sure enough. Hold on up there. This is as far as we go. As far as you go, anyway. You see what this is?
Uh-huh. Looks like a hole in the ground. It's going straight down.
That's right. You fellas seem so much interested in old mines. Here's one just for you. Only this one goes straight down about 90 feet. Used to have a rope to haul the miner up and down, but now there's nothing.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't I? You and your engine pal come butting around into my affairs, and I can't have that. So I'm going to put you where you'll be safe. Right down in the bottom of that hole. Get that long rope, Jabez.
Grey Wolf?
Yes, Henry.
I think that I can untie these ropes.
Oh, good, Henry.
Go ahead. Try. I can untie your wrist. You can untie mine.
Yeah.
There. Here, now we can get this rope off around our chest. Easy. There, got it. Well, that was simple. Hey, I say that was simple. Grey Wolf? Grey Wolf, you all right?
I ashamed. I get Henry caught. And now here we're in bottom of old mine shaft.
But Mr. Barkley will come and get us, won't he? Well, how are we going to get out? We've got to get out, Grey Wolf. We're just in the bottom of a deep hole. There's no way out but straight up. The walls are too smooth to climb. Grey Wolf, what are we going to do?
Now what? Hello?
Hello, Barkley?
Yes.
This is Bragg. Hope I didn't get you out of bed.
No.
Oh, that's good. Listen, Barkley...
You're not backing out of the deal, are you?
No. It's just that it's taken me a little longer than I expected to get that amount of cash together. $100,000, a lot of money.
Not for that mine, it isn't.
Oh, I know that, but it'll just take me a little while longer.
How long?
Oh, another 2 hours.
Okay. Meet you over at the bank?
No, never there. I don't want anybody to get wind of this at all. Say,
What?
let's meet right out at the mine, right in the mine. I'll pay you the whole $100,000 right out there in the mine. Right there at the face where all that gold is.
Well, I don't know.
It's the safest place I know.
All right, Mr. Bragg, have it your way. We'll meet you in the mine at, say, 11 o'clock.
Good. And I'll have the money with me. $100,000.
In cash?
In cash.
Sun's been up a long time.
Yeah. Pretty soon now, Barclay sell that worthless mine to Banker
Worthless
Bragg
mine?
and beat it out of the country.
What do you mean worthless mine? We saw the gold, didn't we?
Yes.
It was gold, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, why do you say then that it's...
Well, maybe $100, $200 worth of gold on that rock face. No more.
But...
That mine, big fake.
But what...
Henry,
What?
I have two ideas. One, got to get you out of here. That main idea. Two, got to stop Barclay selling fake mine.
Sure, but getting out of here. Well, I don't see how we can.
I have idea. How wide this shaft?
Well, there's a little pocket sort of at the bottom. Let's see, it's about 8 feet across. And then the shaft itself is about 4 feet, give or take an inch. But it's cut smooth, straight all the way. No place for a handhold or a foothold.
4 feet, huh? I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall. That ought to be just right. Henry, you listen. Listen carefully.
Well, yeah.
Here's what I want. You help me get stretched out flat, on my back, right up where shaft gets narrow.
But Grey Wolf...
And only at your shoulder height. I'll brace my shoulders against one side of shaft, and my feet against the other.
Oh, it's a long way up there.
I make it. I have to make it. Tie end of rope around my waist. Then I pull you up after I get on top.
But... Grey Wolf...
Tie rope. There. Now, give me a shot.
I don't think that... Wait a minute. There. Can you stay like that? Racing across the shaft like that?
I think so. But Henry.
What?
You get over by side. Crouch down under edge of rock there.
Why?
If I should fall, and I want to fall on you. Go ahead, go on.
All right.
Here I go. And I talk now. Save breath.
Time? 12 noon. On the dot.
Bragg.
What?
There.
Sure enough. It's him, all right, and about time. Hey, over here.
I'm coming. And there's the gold. Shining in the light. Pure gold.
And it's all yours, the whole mountain of it. Just as soon as you hand over the 100,000 iron men.
Well, I have it right here. Do you have a receipt?
Got it right ready, Mr. Bragg. You're just about to become the richest man in the world. You hand me that money and the deal is finished.
Oh, very well.
Oh, stop! Ah! The Indian! Get away! You're dead! You're a ghost!
I'm not dead. Instead, look like I get here just in time.
And I'm here too, Mr. Barclay.
Get out, both of you! You can't be real! Get away!
No use to yell, no use. Yell not help you now.
Wait a minute. What's going on here?
Plenty. You put that money back in pocket.
Why, I...
Buckley play old trick on you. He and Jabez load shotgun shells with gold dust. Shoot shotguns at rock wall. Gold dust hit wall and look like big vein of gold.
Why?
You take rock samples to assay office. Assay office not know. Rock samples you take make fake mine look like richest mine in world. Mine worth nothing. All fake. Just dirt and rock. No good.
And I was going to pay $100,000 for that pile of dirt and rocks. Grey Wolf, can never thank you enough. Never. Greed did this to me. Lust for gold. It's taught me a lesson I won't forget. How can I repay you?
No need to pay. You use money for good purposes, not selfish ones.
I will. I promise.
Hey, where's Mr. Barclay?
Ran.
He not go far. Sheriff waiting outside mine. Bill remember Barclay in trouble like this before. He fake engineer. Bill call sheriff, and sheriff meet us outside mine. Barclay have a long time to think this over.
What about you, Jabez?
Me? I seen the light. I'll mosey out there and introduce myself to the sheriff. Go with him peaceable. I'm through. I'm reformed. When I get out, if I ever do get out, I'm going to go straight. Yes, sir, I'll learn my lesson, all right. I certainly learned my...
Silent Jabez really talked after that. A greedy man's money was saved to be well spent. And Bill said he wouldn't think twice about spending more time away after the way Grey Wolf and I handled this one. Well, see you again next week for more adventure with Ranger Bill!